Welcome back to my channel. I am Jess Marcy. I am a professional organizer and clutter coach. And this year, I'm taking you behind the scenes as we roll into a new school year. In an effort to radically simplify my life this fall, I am focusing on my own personal bottlenecks or pain points, a couple different names for them, in my home and in my schedule. And I'm taking you along on the journey. I am going to tackle one bottleneck or little sticky pain point at a time, let you know how it's going, how my radical simplification works. And you might be wondering, why radical simplification? I find so much freedom in simplicity. And when things are simple, I can breathe. And when I can breathe, I can relax. And when I can relax, my whole body releases tension. When my body releases tension, my nervous system is just at peace. And it turns out that when my nervous system isn't so jacked up all the time, I feel happiness in actually a very authentic way. And I want more of this in my life. So, first up on bottlenecks and pain points to tackle is my schedule. A little background about me. I'm a mom to two teenage girls who are very active in school and sports. I am a business owner and I also have a small farm. I'm a homesteader. I have no actual set schedule and many different priorities that compete for attention every single day. In addition to my competing priorities, a lot of my garden and farm chores are weather dependent. I have been working on my routine and my schedule for a really long time, maybe my whole life. But in March of this year, I embarked on a 75 hard challenge. If you're not sure what 75 hard is, you can go ahead and Google it. But basically, when you do a 75 hard challenge, it really forces you to prioritize yourself and your health. And in doing so, this forces you to clean up your schedule. All of this to say that I am coming into tackling this particular pain point with a pretty solid foundation that I established during my 75 hard. But there is always room for improvement and there is always room to radically simplify. So, how did I start tackling my schedule? The first thing I did was I sat down and started looking at my schedule on a blank Google Calendar. I created a new calendar to block out my time visually. I am a very visual learner, and it really helps me to see everything like this on my calendar. Up until this point, I have planned my days one day at a time with consideration for like different appointments that I might have, or the weather, or the projects that are, oh my gosh, this needs to get done right now. I'm pretty productive in general, but this is not exactly a simple way of doing things. So, here is my blank calendar, and step one of this process is to find a morning anchor. Your weekdays will be radically simplified if they all start at the same time. My morning hike is a really good anchor to start my day, and it was born out of this 75 hard experience. I just want to say I am not a morning person, but this hike works really well because I have a very reliable friend that I meet every morning at 5:45 a.m. External accountability is key for me and so many people to maintain this particular habit. If you're struggling in the morning getting your day started, find an anchor. Before I was hiking every day, I started my day by anchoring to my husband's schedule. He is up and out of the house on a very set schedule, and I decided to offer to make him breakfast every morning. This was selfish. I did this so that I would have a reason to get up and have a morning anchor, the same start to my day and structure for my mornings every day. But actually, over time, it has become something that I really look forward to doing for him. Prior to that, I was getting up later than I wanted, logging into work feeling crazed, and many days still in my pajamas. That's a terrible way to start your day. I still make my husband breakfast, but I actually get up now earlier than he does to go hiking. So, my morning hike is my anchor to start my day. Once I set my morning anchor on my calendar, it was time to address the next issue. When am I actually going to work every day? I technically can work anytime, but it is at a point where it is not beneficial for me to have so much choice in life. Choice is one of those interesting things. Some choice is good, but too much choice creates indecision and so many opportunities to just push things off. Why do something now when I can do it later or later or later or later? Interestingly enough, many of my clients who are retired find this to be a huge hurdle as well. So, for the purposes of radical simplification, I have made an executive decision to have a set work schedule Monday through Thursday. So, 4 days a week, a set work schedule. Regardless of the weather, regardless of other things, I am working the same hours 4 days every week to radically simplify and eliminate decisions. I set my work schedule to hit about 30 hours a week, knowing I'll always work more, but I do try and keep some solid boundaries on committed time in the office. During the pandemic, I routinely worked from sunup well until well after sundown, and those 3 years took a massive toll on my physical and mental health. Now I have a co working space and I have physical separation from my home to help with these boundaries. And setting a daily repeating work schedule is the next step to simplifying my routine and increasing my productivity and eliminating choice. Setting a work schedule allows me also to then set a gym schedule. So I work out at the gym twice a week, and now I can make a commitment to specific time slots during the week, the same ones every week. This is another pain point in my schedule that prior to right now, I would look at my week and constantly be moving around when I was going to the gym. Not helpful, not productive, not simple. So now I am committing to 2 hour time slots every single week. I fill those in here and I add in time to drive to the gym and make some minor adjustments at the end of my workday for Mondays and Thursdays. Working a little bit longer on Mondays and Thursdays allows me to end my work a touch earlier on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I will take this time to go for a walk after work. Ever since I did 75 hard, I've been in the habit of 2 workouts a day. I know this sounds like a lot, but most of my workouts are hikes or walks, and moving my body for at least 90 minutes every day has been a massive game changer. It has resulted in tremendous positive impacts in my physical and mental health. I will never not make this much movement a priority in my life. Now that I have my big blocks of time set up for work and workouts, it is time to set an evening anchor. So, just like a morning anchor, having a time to end my day every day is really important. I get up early for me, so I need to get into bed early. Without getting a solid night of sleep, it is nearly impossible to stick to any schedule. And I've learned that the hard way over the last 20 years. So my goal, and this is a stretch goal, is to be in bed by 9 p.m. every night. Setting up my schedule with this 9 p.m. get into bed goal helps me now work backwards from there to fill in my late afternoon and evening time. I'm trying to be really realistic with this schedule, and often I think I have time to do stuff and it takes way more time. So I figure that I need about an hour before bed to take care of miscellaneous things, wind down, review my schedules and to-dos for tomorrow, and just all that stuff that happens right before I get into bed that usually pushes off my bedtime. I need about an hour. So that's the 8 to 9 p.m. slot. And now it's really about filling in the rest of this blank space. I think about what I can realistically get done in the mornings between hiking and having to leave for work. But honestly, that's not a lot of time. As I fill in this schedule, I'm listing what needs to be done in each slot, and I will adjust this in the future. But these are just starting points and really brain dumping into these different time slots, what has to happen during these times. I'm trying to also remember to put in time for travel and for transition from one thing to another. So walking into the house is a transition after work. And I want to make sure I have time for that transition, but not too much time where I start doing all this other stuff. So these are pretty travel time and transition time. They're pretty important blocks in a schedule, and oftentimes they're overlooked. So if you do this, make sure you don't overlook those times. My time after work and working out is a time when I'm building flexibility into this weekly schedule. This is a time that I could use to run an errand. It's often a time that I go see my children's sporting events. And if I don't have an obligation during this time, it will be my project time for farm, garden, or home projects. I always sit down on Sundays and prioritize what needs to get done, like project wise. So I will on Sundays be more specific about filling in this time, but right now I'm just blocking it out. This is when I will be doing these things. As I go through this process, I'm thinking about all of the little things that need to get done. And again, just noting these on the calendar. After getting my schedule blocked out, I'll look at these specifics more closely and I will tweak as I go along. Finally, I have 2 hours left every night, which is time to cook, to eat dinner, to pick up the kitchen, and to meal prep for tomorrow. For the purpose of radical simplicity, I am planning to spend time doing food prep only one time per day. So instead of being in and out of the kitchen frequently, my goal is to have all of my food prep time done in one solid block every single day. That food prep time includes executing dinner, eating dinner, cleaning up from dinner, preparing as much of tomorrow's breakfasts and lunches as possible, and filling up my water bottles. Food is a little bit more labor intensive for our family as we grow a lot of the food that we eat. And I try to cook as many meals as I can from scratch. Your family might not have the same time commitment to food as we do, but the point is always to make a schedule that both prioritizes things that are truly important for your circumstances and then simplifies those processes as much as possible. At this point, my schedule is pretty well laid out. My calendar titles are getting long, so I move those into the notes of the calendar, and then ultimately I use my Google Keep and move them there. Later, I will put these details onto a notepad and keep this with me as I trial and tweak this schedule over the next 2 weeks or so. The last detail that I really need to sort out is when is the best time to take a shower. My hair needs to be washed every day. And yes, I have tried everything I can to not have to wash my hair every day. I have no pood. I have had extensions. I have tried different haircuts, different products, but I have just come to accept that my hair needs to be washed every day. Washing it at night ends up taking more time in the morning because I need to spend more time styling it. So the only option is to wash it first thing in the morning. And I can't wash it after my hike because I just don't have enough time. So in an effort to radically simplify, I decide that this does make the most sense to shower first thing every morning before I hike, which means an earlier wake up time. But if I want simplicity, this decision is actually a pretty big factor in all of that. So 5 a.m. wake up, here I come. I know. Who am I? My schedule, the first pain point that I'm tackling, has been mostly sorted out here. Now it's time to test it and to tweak it. If you want to see how that goes, make sure you are following me on social media and check back for the next video in this radical simplification process. Have a great day, everyone.